Hey, everybody. My name is Nic Nelson. I'm with Wordsmith Writing Coaches, and I am thrilled to be here as part of BookFest Spring 2021. I am going to tell you a little bit about book reads. We don't have very much time, so I can't go into deep detail about this, but I am going to give you kind of Goodreads 101. I'm going to tell you what it is, why it's so necessary and wonderful, what it doesn't do well, what it does really, really well, and how to use it wisely. Um, but before we get into all of that, I wanted to ask you guys, who here already knows about Goodreads, already uses Goodreads? So what I've done is I've created a poll. So look in the chat and you'll find a link to this poll. And you can start taking it right now uh, while we're doing the beginning part here. But basically, I want to know how many of you are authors and how many of you are readers, and whether or not you actually know about Goodreads or use Goodreads already. So go to the poll, answer the poll, and meanwhile, we'll go ahead and get started. So, Goodreads is many things to many people. Um, but the most important thing, when Goodreads was first created, it started out really as kind of a book cataloging site. Um, When Goodreads first started out, it started as a book cataloging site, really. And then it grew into more of a book recommendation site as people started going to Bookreads not to sort through all their books and keep track of the books that they were reading and the ones they wanted to read, but to find new books that they knew that they would really love. Um, Goodreads did not set out to do that. It it organically became one of the best book recommendation sites in the world. Since then, it's tried to sort of become a social media platform. It's got a lot of interesting social media tools that a lot of people don't know about, even people who already use Goodreads. So it's not doing super well as a social media platform if you compare it to other social media platforms. However, what it has done by adding those social media ish tools is it has become the largest and most powerful book club in the world. And by book club, I mean active and constantly growing network of book clubs. I also mean a thriving community of rabid readers looking for new books and new authors to love, looking for books to read. They're looking for that next book that they want to read, and the fine points of plot and character to endlessly discuss. Like that's what people want to do on book reads. And it's also those are the things that people know already about it. But I also want to recognize the fact that Goodreads has become the world's best gamification platform for reading books, which is one of the reasons why you, as an author, desperately need to be on Goodreads. I'm not going to talk about the gamification of reading right now, but I would love to talk about that with people later on. Um, Meanwhile, let me just show you one of the reasons why Goodreads is just toweringly important. Goodreads did a study back in 2012. I know it's kind of old, but if anything, these numbers have actually just gotten more powerful since it was first done. Um, so you look here; they've surveyed out. On the one hand, they are surveying Goodreads members, but on the other hand, remember, um, Goodreads members are avid book readers more than anything else. 90% of people who are on Goodreads because they want to catalog and keep track of the books that they have, the books that they've read, and the books that they want to read. And they want to uh, they trust Goodreads. Goodreads has proven itself to be the most reliable place for them to find the next book that they want to read, which they'll be happy with. And we'll get back to that in a second, because anybody can go to online and find a book recommendation, but Goodreads has figured out how to recommend books to people that they will that they are very highly likely to love. And that is key. It's very, very important thing to remember in many ways. But anyway, these are these people that they're surveying. And they asked them how they discovered a book. Here's what they found. Um, Goodreads friends recommending books to them was 64%. That was, you know, right behind offline friends. So let's just acknowledge that word of mouth, a friend recommending, hey, man, I love this book. I think you would really like it too. We have always known that that's the number one way that people find the next book that they're going to love. That's the number one way that people find the next author that they're going to love, that they're going to follow, that they're going to become loyal to. But it's just interesting that Goodreads is right behind it. Goodreads Friends is right behind uh, regular offline friends. And right after a recommendation from a Goodreads friend is a recommendation from the Goodreads site algorithm itself. And then browsing a bookstore, and then after that, Amazon and library, and then Goodreads pops up again. Um, but this is the kind of thing that Goodreads does really amazingly well. And other places that people think of when they think, oh, I'm going to launch a book next month. I'm going to take out a ton of Facebook ads and I'm going to make sure that I tweet about it like every day and get all my friends to tweet about it. Well, that's not a good way for people to discover books that they really love. Um, Facebook and Twitter are for what they are and the way that they do things, they are great social media platforms. If Twitter is your favorite social media platform, I'm not going to throw any shade on it. Same with Facebook. If you love Facebook and your whole social online life is on Facebook, you're in good company. Most of the world is right there with you. Um, so, but they're just not great places. They're not great platforms for avid readers to find the next book, to find to get a book recommendation that they really trust, and find the next book that they're going to really love. So um, Goodreads does other things really well. But there are some things that Goodreads does not do well, like not at all. Goodreads will not cooperate with your efforts to purchase attention or participation or sales, conversion means sales, or loyalty. Um, Judging from my own experience and my informal surveys of other Goodreads users, Goodreads ads are mostly ignored. We tune them out. I didn't even realize that Goodreads had banner ads at the top of the page until someone told me they were there, and I had to open Goodreads and check and look for them and finally found one. And the ads on Goodreads are not always book related, which is one reason why they may be overlooked. I mean, that's why some people think that they're overlooked when I bring it up. But that also tells you little something about how the Goodreads advertising department thinks of their own ad program. If Goodread ads for books worked as well as you might expect them to on a platform full of avid readers, all you would see on Goodreads in the advertising things would be book ads. But instead, the Goodreads ads department does a better job of selling advertising to companies that value impressions and brand familiarity over click through rate and conversions because they're not getting that from Goodreads ads. So let's not tell those big companies that it's not working. But on the other hand, maybe it is working for all we know. Maybe we just don't realize it. Um, anyway, let's go back to the happy things, the things that Goodreads does really, really well. First, Goodreads enables you to nurture, not purchase, attention and participation, conversion and loyalty. It is a gigantic meta book club. It's a seething hive of enthusiasm and hunger for each person's next great book. Most fundamentally, though, it prevents you, if you're an author, if you're a new author, It prevents you from being discovered online naked. You really want to avoid that. Now, before you're like, what is Nick talking about? Let me explain what I'm saying here. If someone searches for you online, they find you in all the places where you've established an online presence, right? Places that you created, profiles that you created. So, uh, so if someone goes on Stack Exchange and looks for me, they're not going to find me. If someone goes on Quora and looks for me, they will find me. They'll find a profile that I created. I chose the photos. I chose the text. I, dressed up each of my online personas in different ways. And you do this too. Your LinkedIn profile is going to look professional. Your Instagram profile is going to look casual. You're going to look savvy on Reddit, and I don't know, maybe you might not even appear on Facebook anymore. That's your choice. But um, but if you do because you made those choices. You created those profiles. However, the weird thing is when you publish a book, suddenly you become a public person and you appear in new places online in public, but completely naked in the sense that you didn't choose the photos, you didn't write the text, you didn't even make sure your name is spelled the way you want it to appear. Although, since it's just scraped off of the metadata of the book that you published, it's going to be spelled correctly. It just might not be you know, maybe the way that the name appears on your book is not exactly the way that you would like to be seen in Goodreads. That's very common. Um, so the moment that you uh, publish a book, you get a new profile of you, an author page on Amazon, and an author profile on Goodreads. So let me show you what it might look like if you don't claim it. So yeah, we need to save you from being found naked online. So this is your author profile, stark naked. If someone searches for you, they find you and you haven't fixed this. This is what it might look like. It's got your name, Howard Hendricks. Howard Hendricks is actually a friend of mine. He is an author, and I looked him up on Goodreads. And I thought, oh my gosh, Howard, you've got to claim your profile. You're stark naked on Goodreads. This is awful. It's got his name here. It's got whatever, you know, uh, whatever website link here, the algorithm found for him, and just one book that he's published, but maybe the art copy will get in here by accident, not the final one with the cool cover that he launched. And when you do click on that link, the website is discontinued. Even the URL is bad. Don't let this happen to you. Now, I realized, thankfully, I spelled his last name wrong. Here's how your author profile will look when it's claimed by you or by Desiree. So I spelled his name wrong. This is his actual Goodreads author profile. Um, and when I first found it, I was like, oh, thank goodness he's not naked. And then I looked, I was like, okay, well, he might not be naked, but I don't know if he wants to sort of clothe himself, so to speak, in this particular way on Goodreads because like the photo is kind of out of focus and it's kind of small. I think the photo was scraped off of like a thumbnail sized photo on the back of one of his books. Um, his name is spelled correctly, but it's got the V in there. I know he doesn't normally go by Howard V. Hendricks, so I'm pretty sure he would remove the V from his name if he was, doing his own thing. And the books are not in any particular order. They're not even in chronological order. And, he's got 31 books that appear here, but there's a couple of them that I'm pretty sure he actually would not want on his author profile for certain reasons. Well, there's one in particular. Not that it's a bad book or embarrassing or anything, but he's been a university professor. He's been really focusing on his university career these past 10 years, and now he's really getting back into writing and publishing new books. So he's going to want his latest books to be up near the top. And some of the other books that he wrote that don't have to do with science fiction, perfectly good books, but he's trying to brand himself now as a science fiction author. And you should probably, quietly remove, at least from your Goodreads profile, the the non-science fiction books, or push them down to the bottom, or put them in a different section or something, which he could do if he claimed his profile. So I'm pretty sure he hasn't. There, if you look down here, there, no videos have been added to the profile yet or anything. It doesn't need to be, a lot of videos, but dude, you've got 31 books in print. Throw a video up there. Even if it's just a 15-second video saying, "Hey, everybody, I'm glad to see you on Goodreads. You know, check out my, check out my books," or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it'd be better than nothing, right? And nothing is what you have when you're naked. Um, so here's another good thing about claiming your uh, author profile, which John Scalzi definitely did, because I tried to edit his data. I just clicked on the link to see if I could edit his data. And it said, sorry, do you see the yellow band up at the top there? Sorry, this author is on Goodreads. He's responsible for editing his own data. That means he's claimed it. Because if I had librarian privileges, I could I could edit his data myself, um, which actually I don't, but it was fun to try. Um, but even Goodreads users with librarian privileges can't edit your data if you have claimed your profile. But if you haven't claimed your profile, then they could. I mean, they're well-meaning, kind people, but do you want a stranger to dress you? Okay, probably not. Um, and and his photo, John Scalzi is just he's. Do you really want that photo to appear? Okay, John, I guess you do. You put it there. Um, and if you claim your own author profile, you can put your own, uh, bio here. John Scalzi has decided he's not going to put a bio. Um, but yeah, but at least he's telling you, don't use the mail function to contact him here. Go to his site and use the contact information that you find there. And the website up there at the top, whatever.scalzi.com, that's actually his current website. He's on it all the time. He interacts with fans and stuff over there. So so he knows that Goodreads is where, like, Goodreads is going to be full of John Scalzi fans who want to interact with him, who want to get into conversations with him, who want to know if he's speaking somewhere soon, or if he's going to, have a book signing or something, or if he's going to be, you know, racing go-karts in New Mexico or whatever. It's just good to know those things, and then you could go see him if you can. But um, now, he was for a little while. Do you see there where it says "Ask the author"? John Scalzi is currently not accepting new questions. The Ask the Author discussion thing is a tool that Goodreads authors can use. If you claim your author profile, you can use these cool tools. This is one of those tools that has nothing to do with paying for ads. It's not advertising, it's interaction. And so even crusty, grumpy John Scalzi decided at one point in the past that he was going to answer personal questions. And so he did. And he's got a few of them here. I didn't fit them all on here. Um, but yeah, you can tell John Scalzi has a certain kind of dry sense of humor, and it comes across here. But exactly, like, this is branding. Like, this is not random stuff uh, generated by a computer algorithm that scraped the rest of the internet somewhere looking for information about you to just randomly populate, or hopefully non-randomly populate, certain metadata fields for you, and just leave all the rest empty. So um, if you're a John Scalzi fan and you go here and you read this, wry, sort of smart alecky humor, you love it, because if you already like John Scalzi's writing, you're going to love his Goodreads profile. Even though he hasn't done very much with his Goodreads profile, mostly what he's done here is he's painted a portrait of himself as an author, And he said, you know what? I'm just not going to hang out here very much, but here's where I do hang out. Go there, use the contact information that you'll find there, and join me over there. Read about me over there. That's where exciting things are going to be happening. And I love the fact that he lists Coke Zero as an influence in his life and writing. Um, anyway, so I'm sure I've convinced you now. If you're an author, you do not want to be found naked, and hopefully you'll put a little more work into, like, you probably don't want to look like John Scalzi either, unless you're John Scalzi, then you want to look exactly like John Scalzi. So let's take you, whoop, wrong way. Let's take you from naked to stylish in 60 minutes or less, which is actually this entire thing. It's going to be less than 50 minutes. Don't worry. The first thing you need to do is create a Goodreads account and upload just a profile photo, just a simple profile photo, right? A headshot, okay? Not a weird profile photo. Just, you can do weird stuff later. We'll get to that in a second if you want to be weird. But just upload a profile photo so that someone who's looking for you in a crowd could find you, okay? Then go and claim your author profile. Super easy. So you've created an account, search for your book or your most popular book if you're a little behind here and you've published a lot of them and you need to claim your profile. Search for your most popular book. And on that book's page, click on your author name and scroll all the way to the bottom of your naked author profile page. And then there's a thing at the bottom in small print that says, "Is this you? Let us know." Yes, click that. They'll take you through the application process to apply to claim your author profile. There's a process because they don't want random hackers to claim your author profile and do unconscionable things with your identity, which, by the way, is yet another reason to hurry up and claim it. The approval takes a couple of days. So don't put it off to the last minute. The next thing you want to do is add an author bio. And you've written this already, I'm sure. Just for right now, take an author bio, just paste it in there. Or if you've got two or three different author bios that you're using for different purposes, go ahead and put a few in there. And you're a writer, exercise your writing skill and just sort of edit those together and make a slightly longer bio for yourself. Have fun with it. Um, so then you want to add two strategic photos. You already have a profile photo, right? But now that you've claimed your author profile, you can upload more photos. You can upload lots more photos, but you got to start out with two in particular. Okay. Um, um, and it's easy to upload a photo. Here's the photo upload thing. You choose the file, you upload it, you're done. Um, And of course, it wants you to see what it says here. Share your favorite literary images. Ah, exactly. That's what we're getting at. So the first strategic photo should show you in your favorite reading chair or your favorite reading nook, reading a book, perhaps your own or one that contributes to the author persona that you're trying to create. So remember, both the title and the description of this photo is going to be visible to fans browsing your profile. Keep the title brief, but use the description as an opportunity to convey more about who you are, at least your author persona, um, in both in what you say and in how you say it. Now, the second strategic photo should be a photo that relates to your latest book, or maybe the kind of thing that you write about, or anything that develops um, your author persona for them. Don't use another headshot. You can upload a ton of headshots later if you want, but that's not the kind of photo I'm talking about, unless it were a headshot, in costume or something. But you really want this second photo to be something that shows the reader a side of you that they don't normally see. You peering through a telescope, or your illustrator, not you, but your illustrator at work in their studio, or maybe a line of people ostensibly waiting to buy your book or have you sign your book, or a line of people that are standing between you and the barista when you really need that coffee, or maybe a photo of a pet that keeps you company while you write, or a close-up photo of your favorite drink or a snack that goes keeps you going while you write, that kind of thing. And then in the description of that second photo, explain it. Don't just give some metadata about like what it is and where it was taken or whatever, but tell the reader why you chose that photo, why you're posting that photo. Use that little description box here to tell a story fragment of who you are. So you've done that. You've added the two strategic photos. Uh, Now add an external link to your website or whatever landing page is most important right now. It could be the front page of your website, or it could be, uh, I don't know, it could be something else. It depends on who you are, right? Every author is different. Every book is a little different. Your landing page that you might want to put here might be different. Um, and by the way, you cannot add hyperlinks in your about section. Well, perhaps you can if you're an author who's claimed your profile, but regular members can't add hyperlinks to the about you section of your profile. But you do have one particular little box where it says, enter your website here. So next steps. Make sure now, once you've done that first part, by the way, you're done. Like you have now claimed your author profile and you've done all the basic things. If it's time for dinner and you've got other things you need to do, just go. You're good. You're not naked anymore, at least. But hey, this is Goodreads. There's all kinds of opportunities and next steps that you can take to make your profile a little more appealing or a little more effective. First of all, make sure that your books will look good there. Um, and make sure that all your books various versions appear the way you want to, things like that. Next, you want to join some groups, and that there's an asterisk there because um, now you're getting into kind of the social media sort of interaction, but just remember where you are. Like like these are people, these are all insiders, these are all avid readers, these are bookworms. um, and they're not all going to be avid readers of yours. So you're absolutely not out there trying to convince every person that you meet in a group or in a discussion on Goodreads, oh, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Because remember the well, from my personal research, it seems very clear that the number one reason that people write 1 and 2 star reviews of a book is because they paid money for a book that they should have known was really not for them. But it was marketed or it was advertised in a way that appealed to them so strongly that it sold them on the book and they paid money for it. But if they had understood that book better, they would have passed it over and you would not have that 1 star review. So so you don't want to convince all of Goodreads to buy your books. You want to just get to know people and get to be known. Get to know other people and allow other people to get to know you. And, you know, they're going to be able to tell if they click on your profile, oh my gosh, this person's an author. And remember, on Goodreads, even if you're an author of a genre that nobody likes or that nobody in that discussion likes, because you're a published author, you're a celebrity. You're a minor celebrity, perhaps, but you're already a celebrity there. Other people in other social media platforms might think you're kind of weird, but on Goodreads, people will love you just for that. That doesn't mean you should try to sell them your book yet. Here's some examples of potential like first groups that you want to join. It's a look, this first one, Goodreads authors and readers. Yeah, good. This group is dedicated to connecting readers with Goodreads authors. That's all you need to know. Join the group. Once you're in the group, look at the different discussions that are happening and choose a discussion that's interesting to you. Because if it's interesting to you, then especially if it's interesting to you, kind of like in your author persona, relevant to the kinds of things that you write about, uh, then it's a likely place to find potential fans for your book. Um, uh, then, of course, there's the 2021 reading challenge. Are you ready to set your 2021 reading goal? This is, it looks like a group just for readers. Get in there as an author too. Don't be weird. Don't go, placarding your book around yet. But this is the kind of group, this kind of reading challenge group. It's the kind of group where people will talk about the kinds of books that they wish they could find. And if you find someone who describes in a discussion post your exact book and says, "Oh my gosh, if only I could find, you know, a Regency romance that takes place in Egypt and has ethnically diverse characters and uses Greek, actual Greek letters and phrases and stuff in the dialogue. Man, I wish I could find that book. If you wrote that book, let them know." So, anyway, um, there are lots of other books too. Book Riot is very well known. It's got thousands of people who participate in Book Riot all the time. Ultimate Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Some of these books have been going on for years, and these book reading groups have been going on for years and years. And you'll learn a lot by joining them. But just click on groups once you've got your author profile claimed and just browse the groups. Look at recommended groups, search for some groups, throw in whatever search terms you want. You'll find fascinating things. Now, once you've at least done that, you're well on your way to using Goodreads wisely as an author. There are a few next steps that I will suggest. For example, follow your favorite authors on Goodreads. Follow authors who write similar stuff to you. Anybody that you listed in your book proposal as a comparable, follow them on Goodreads. Um, and especially pay attention to the Goodreads authors who seem to be using Goodreads successfully. Attend their events, their Goodreads events. Sign up for their author Q&A groups when they happen. Take a part in their Ask the Author discussions, that kind of thing. Watch how they use Goodreads and take notes. Then create an event. Oh my gosh, it's the easiest thing in the world, especially now because nobody is expecting your event to take place in real life. So if only two or three authors show up at your event, they'll think, wow, this is great. We get this author all to ourselves. I mean, it could just be a Zoom meeting, for goodness sake. It doesn't even have to be an event that you rented a banquet hall for or arranged a book signing at a all those things that Desiree does so well, and I can't even think of examples. It doesn't have to be any of those things. Just create an event and give it a really clever name, and just make it a Facebook group or a YouTube. I mean a Zoom meeting or something. Um, make friends and influence people. Goodreads is a powerful and an increasingly global platform. Authors cannot afford to ignore it. But you also, there's absolutely, it's absolutely a bad idea to just blindly jump in and do all the things that Goodreads recommends that authors do in their Goodreads author program. Like, please don't just go through and there and just sign up for all the things and do all the things and push money across the table at them and just hope that something happens even though you don't have a plan. Um, Remember, Goodreads um, is not a good advertising platform all by itself. You need to have a strategy, a plan in place, and some other fundamentals in place. Desiree can help you with this kind of thing. But once you have those things in place, then Goodreads ads make perfect sense. But before you have those things in place, Goodreads ads are are just really not a good idea. But same thing with things like Goodreads giveaways. Um, and Listopia. Save those things for later after you understand Goodreads a little bit more. Let your Goodreads involvement evolve naturally while you're developing all those other key things for your marketing strategy. Um, I just wanted to share with you one example of a non-advertising uh, but uniquely Goodreads promotional strategy that worked really well on me just recently. So it says, Sybil said to you, "Hi, Nicholas." I'll let you read it while I talk about it. Now, I don't know who Sybil is. She's not one of my friends on Goodreads. Either she works for Goodreads or she works for Kim Stanley Robinson. I'm pretty sure she works for Goodreads. But there's this list of recommended books about science fiction set on the moon, a list that was compiled personally by one of my favorite science fiction authors. And she's also announcing that Kim Stanley Robinson has a new book out later this month, and it too is set on the moon. Not only that, there's an interview with Kim Stanley Robinson about his new book, Red Moon, in the Goodreads monthly newsletter. And there's an opportunity to sign up for Kim Stanley Robinson's email list in this short little thing right here. To get me into his contact management database and start making a proper fan out of me, which should probably happen. But hang on a second. Do you notice when this was written? When did Red Moon actually come out? It came out in October of 2018, 3 years ago. And yet I just received this notification in the first week of April 2021. Why? Because in 2017 and 2018, I didn't spend hardly any time at all on Goodreads. I was never served this message because I was never on the platform. Now I got the Goodreads newsletter in my email, I'm sure because I get it every month, but I honestly I don't always open it. I don't always look at it. If I have time, obviously I do because I love it. It's fascinating. Um, but in 2017 and 2018, I was definitely not opening any email from Goodreads. So somehow they knew that I hadn't um, that I had not seen this before, and they even told me why this article was triggered. See it in that paragraph right there? We're sending you this article because what they left out is just here. You just rated one of Kim Stanley Robinson's books 5 stars. Like I was adding more books to my library, to my Goodreads catalog, and one of them was a Kim Stanley Robinson book, and I rated it 5 stars as I added it. And that triggered this. This was written in 2018. And when it came to me, I was all excited to see this. Um, this is typical of how Goodreads promotion is is just kind of weird, a little clunky sometimes, but kind of magical too. Because when readers begin to notice you and your books online, even years from now, their curiosity, their interest, their approval, especially of your books, are going to trigger some of your old promotional campaigns in a way that seems those campaigns seem at that time fresh and timely, but which are also honest about their vintage. This blend of authenticity and savvy really appeals to Goodread enthusiasts. It works. It worked on me. I clicked on these links. I haven't signed up for his newsletter yet, but I clicked on the other links already. Absolutely, I want to know what books about the moon, or science fiction set on the moon, Kim Stanley Robinson thinks are interesting. Um, so, you know what kind of promotion doesn't work so well on Goodreads? Advertising. Well, we talked about that already. So that's all that I have for you right now. I just I do want to encourage you to keep up with me. There's next steps with me. Um, you can email me if you want to keep in touch with me at my awkwardly long domain name here, nick@wordsmithwritingcoaches.com. You can subscribe on YouTube to my slow and faltering YouTube channel, which is artfully called Nicholas Nelson. And you'll see the link here in the chat. You could join one of the writers groups that I lead, either Press or Slake. Press is a group that will help you improve your productivity and actually get the writing done, get the words out. Slake is a critique group. And you can find out more about them at this link that you'll see in the chat right here. Uh, you can meet me in person if you like. Gloss runs excellent um events here in Los Angeles, and I would love to see you there. And by the way, if you're looking for a critique group, which I highly recommend if you're writing and aspiring to be an author, um, Gloss also runs excellent genre-specific critique groups, and I'll put that URL also in the chat. And I would love to meet you in person sometime, either at a Gloss event or at a book festival or at a conference in the Pacific Northwest or in Utah or here in California somewhere. So just go to my website and sign up for my email newsletter, and I'll let you know when those things are happening. And I would love to see you there. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate you guys joining me here at BookFest Spring 2021. And I hope that this has helped you to understand Goodreads a little bit more and to appreciate it more. And hopefully, I will see you on Goodreads. That's another thing I want to encourage you to do is if you do join Goodreads, or if you're on already, please look me up there and friend me. I do not have any books in print, but I am an avid reader, and who knows, I might read and review your own books. So I look forward to seeing you online or in person sometime soon. Thanks so much, everybody.